Welcome to this tutorial on GitHub integration in Android Studio. I'm going to go over some very basics of how to use the GitHub integration in Android Studio. So all the built-in tools to do in GitHub to get your projects up online, to save branches, commits, and all that good stuff that it does. So topics covered. First off, this looks like a lot of stuff. It's not. Android Studio does most of this stuff for you, and in multiple items in here, it does at the same time. So a lot of this stuff, don't worry about the length of it. It's going to be handled for you, but it's important to go over just the terminology. So we're going to go over the documentation, how to configure Git, new project, and all this good stuff. So first up is the documentation. You get the documentation. We need the documentation. Actually, first up, you need to download it too. So if you go to this website here, which linked just the Git website, Google Git Docs. If you want to learn more about anything that we cover, go up here, uh, click on one of these. It'll take you to a lot more information about it. Downloads. You have to have Git downloaded and installed on your system in order for it to work. So go to the GitHub website, click Downloads, choose your OS, install it. You're good to go. You need a GitHub account. So github.com, oops, you go away. Sign up for an account. Now, you can also sign up for an account through Android Studio. There's a link in there that I'll show you. So let's go over to Android Studio. Okay, so here we are at Android Studio. And the very first thing we want to do is go over the settings, the interface, how to configure Git, and that sort of thing, really quick. So before we make a new project, we're configure settings. Now I'm on a Windows PC. This might be a little different on a Mac, but I think it's pretty much the same. So what you're going to do in these settings is you're going to go to version control. Open this up, and the first thing you want to do is go to Git. Now, Android Studio may automatically pick up your Git directory. It might not. So what you want to do is you want to check this, click these little dots. You'll find the directory it installed to. Click test. Success. Next, GitHub. Over here, auth type, it's going to start at token. Change it to password. Type in github.com, your login, your password. And down here is the sign up link. So you can sign up for a GitHub account if you don't have one. Don't want to go to the website. Test. Success. All right. Over here, file status colors. If for any reason at any time, the tabs and on the side, you're going to get these colors. This is what they mean. So you've got different colors for different things. So files added, files changed, conflicts, all of this stuff. I'm not going to read down the whole list because we'll see it as we change files and stuff. So we're going to start a new project. Super duper. Super duper. Next. I'm going to go to basic activity just because I want stuff in there that I can delete and add without typing. Next, finish. Give it a minute here. Build. Building. Let's give it a minute here. All right. App. Res. Layout. Content main. So I'm just going to be adding and messing around with this file in the activity main file. I'm not going to get into Java or nothing like that. This isn't an Android tutorial. This is a Git tutorial. So we're only going to be concentrating on changing things and that type of thing. So looking for how to use Android, this is not the place to be. So adding Git to a new project. Before we have any options to use Git, before we can do anything with Git, we have to add it to the project. The way we do that is we go to this VCS menu. We go to Enable Version Control Integration. Now, we need to pick Git. We're using Git. Click OK. Down here in green, create a Git repository, and super duper, you'll see all the files change colors. And if we give it a minute here, there's a version control tab way down at the bottom left. It will turn where we can use it. There we go. So we can open up this version control tab. Now, for most everything, I'm going to be using the VCS menu up top. There are a few things down here we're going to look at. We're not going to go over all these icons. Once you look in the VCS menu, you'll see that all these icons are in there. So once you learn that, you can use the shortcuts down here. So there's local changes, unresolved files, 41. So there's all these files down here that have not been added. So the way Git works is it tracks files. It looks for changes. When you make changes, you can commit those changes, which is kind of like a save point in a video game. So those changes have been saved. You can go on and make new changes. And then the idea is if you mess up, you can go back in time, get those changes. Kind of like in a video game, get yourself into a spot, you got to go back. Same thing. So there's two ways to do this. The first thing we need to do is we need a repository on the remote website. So there's no repository, we can't push it anywhere. What we want to do is be able to take the local stuff and push it up to the website. So if we go to VCS, import to version control, share project on GitHub. So your repository, super duper. Leave the remote name alone. You can give it a description. This is like your README file. I'm not gonna bother with it. Share. Now we get this dialog box here. So in order to do this, we have to commit our files. We have to add our files and commit them first. Sharing it on GitHub the first time automatically does this stuff for you, so you don't have to do anything extra. We go down here, we see that all the files are checked, which is what we want. We're going to leave this message here, initial commit. Now, this might be blank for you. Just type in initial commit or starting point or whatever you want. Just a meaningful message so that if you're looking at it, you'll know what's there. You'll know, oh, it's the initial commit. All these files are just the way they should be when you first start a project. Click OK. Down in the middle there says push into GitHub. Give it a minute. Okay, so over here, successfully shared project on GitHub. Super. Click this. It will take me to GitHub, and you will see all the files. So the project has now been uploaded to GitHub. You'll see here, branch master. There are no other branches. I'm not currently logged in, so you've got sign up and all this other stuff. You can see that now we've taken our project from Android Studio and we've pushed it up to the GitHub website. Now, what happens if we make changes? Right. Say we make a change. Oh, it already detected some stuff. So do you want to add the following file to Git? This vcs.xml. If you choose no, you can still add it later manually. And the reason this popped up is because this file just got generated. It wasn't in there originally, and so Git is looking at your files, and there's a new file that popped up and says, well, I want to add this into Git. We're just going to choose yes. This file doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's make some changes. Well, actually, let's talk about branches. What is a branch? Let's go to log. So here we can see our commits. We have made one commit, initial commit. Click on it. Over on the right, we can see all the files that were committed. We can see the commit message, the emails, all that stuff. So branches are a way to add new features. Now, you can work off of the master branch. When you first make a project and add Git to it, you're on what's called the master branch. You can work on the master branch. I don't recommend it. The reason behind that is, like I said, all this stuff is kind of like a video game, like save points. You want to be able to go back. if you're always working on the master branch, if you screw something up so bad that you have to start over, you really have to start over, and it's kind of done. Um, if you're working on branches, you can incrementally start over, so you don't lose tons and tons and tons of stuff. It's just a way to help keep. Really, it's a way to help keep organized. You can look at the name of the branch, you give it something meaningful, you know what happened on that branch, and then later on, you can do what's called a merge, and you can flatten all that stuff together. So we're going to make a new branch. We're going to go to Get Master. Down here, we're going to do a new branch. We're going to give this branch a name. Just something meaningful. Let me think. Layout changes. Okay, check this branch out. Okay, now we're on a branch called layout changes right here. So you see down here, layout changes. And down there where we just changed the branch, you can see we're on layout changes. Let's make some layout changes. I'm going to copy this. Okay, let's say we added a whole bunch of awesome stuff to our layout, right? So now we want to commit these changes. So we've changed enough stuff that we're like, okay, I need to make a save point. It's time to commit some changes. So DCS. Oops. We can do two things. We can commit the file and we can push the file. So if we hit commit changes, commit file, sorry, you're going to get this dialog box pops up here, commit changes dialog box. And it's going to show you the file that we just changed. Down here, it's got two files. We're going to go ahead and we're going to commit these files as well. So we're going to click the checkbox. Down here, it's going to show you all the different stuff that got added. Click through file names and you can see the different stuff that got added. Pretty cool. Now, commit message. Down here in this box is where you're going to type your commit message. This is something meaningful. And look at it, you know exactly what was done. So in here, we're going to write, added some text, because that's what we did. So when we look at this commit, if we need to go back, we can see we added some text views. We know what we did. So down here, you've got commit and push, create patch. We're going to do commit and push. You don't have to push every time you do a commit. Putting files in the commit is like a bucket. You can fill that bucket with as much stuff as you want, and then later you can push all that stuff at one time. But Android Studio makes it super easy. It's 2 clicks to commit and push the changes up to the website. Hit push, then we're going to get this here, and we're just going to click push. So super easy, one shot, done. So now in this log, we've got edit some text files, and over here we can see the files that got changed. Let's do another commit. We're going to keep working on this layout changes branch because we're going to make some more changes to the layout. We no longer need this text view. It's irrelevant after we did some stuff. And let's go to activity main. We can include, see this here. I'm going to just add a text view because it doesn't matter. Okay, so this way we've changed 2 files now. We're still making layout changes, so we're still in the layout changes. Okay, so let's pretend we've done enough stuff where it's like, I'd better save my work so far. So DCS, git directory. It changes based on how many files you get. Don't worry about the name change. So we're going to commit both files. So we put a checkbox there. Add some more text views. Commit and push. Push. Okay, so now you can see in our log, we're starting to get filled up with commits. Let's say that this right here, we foobarred it. We messed it up so bad, there's no saving it. We got to go back. Really easy to do. with this log set up. Click on the commit you want. So we want to go back to added some text views. Right click, reset current branch to here. You have different options. Depending on what you want to do, depends on the different options you want to pick. So soft, the files won't change. The differences will be staged for commit. What staging means is files were added to the commit stack, but they were not committed. Just kind of sitting in limbo, waiting for you to commit them. Mixed, files won't change. Differences won't be staged. This is going to put you in it's going to put your files in kind of a limbo state. You'll be able to lose them. Hard, files will be reverted to the state of the selected commit. Warning, any local changes will be lost. This is what I usually do because it's usually what I need to do. It'll wipe out the next branch or branches, and it'll take, not branch, commit, sorry, on that branch. It'll take you back to where you need to go back to where things weren't messed up. The files will be reverted to the state of the selected commit, but the local changes will be kept intact. This is going to kind of mix things up and down. You'll be able to kind of pick and choose what you want to do. We're going to use hard. Reset. Reset successful. Now we're back to edit some text views. We still have this commit, but we're back to here. So it's like nothing happened. So this is like it never happened. It's been reset. So we can just delete this somewhere in here. Delete. Because we don't need it anymore. We messed it up. Too far gone. And now that's gone. Okay. So there's what's called pushing, which we've seen. There's also something called pulling. I'm in a program through Udacity called Grow with Google Scholarship. We're the only ones working on the files, so there's no reason for us to pull anything. The idea behind pooling is if you have more than one person working on a project, you're working on different branches, you're working on the same branch. Joe Schmo over down the hallway committed some stuff up to the branch. When you try to push, it will say, there's new stuff on here that you don't have. You need to pull it down first. So you would tell it to pull. So the way you do that is you go to VCS, Git, and then this option down here, pull. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell it to pull. Well, I'm not, because there's nothing for me to do. It won't let me do it because there's nothing there. So you would be able to, right here, merge, which we're going to get to in just a bit here. Pull that down and get your files in sync, and then you can commit your changes up next. But for my purposes, for this tutorial, we don't need to worry about this. Diffs and conflicts. Now, when we later merge, we may get a conflict, we may not. It always depends. But I'm going to show you what a diff is. So, if you click on the log and you click on a commit, if you say click a file, right click this file, go to diff. The diff shows you the file before and after the commit. So it just shows you what was changed. If there was a conflict, this green text would be red and there'd be a little arrow and you'd be able to keep those, or there's an X and you can get rid of them. It's really self-explanatory when you see it. X that out. So now we're going to do merging. Okay, so we've done everything we need to do. As I mentioned before in this program I'm in, when we turn in projects, everything has to be on the master branch. So us in this program, we need to merge this back in the master branch. And like I said, you don't have to use branches, but it's the best way to keep yourself organized. I really recommend you doing it. But we need to go back to the master branch. We need to push everything in there. Merging is basically you're taking all the changes you've made and you're flattening them down. If you have a ton of branches, a ton of commits, you'll see. So the way we do this is we need to be on the master branch because we want to merge everything into the master branch. So we're going to go down here to this itty bitty little bar, local, master, checkout. So now we are on the master branch. And if we look, our files changed. They're back to the way they were initially. We didn't lose anything. We look in the log, all that stuff is still there. We didn't lose anything. We're just looking at a snapshot of what was on the other branch. If we go to VCS, Git, merge changes, it's going to show us all the different branches. This is the branch, layout changes. What we have on that branch is the commit added some text views. Now there might be tons of commits, and that's okay because they're all going to get flattened down. And we're going to need a commit message. You can ignore all this other stuff. Merging all the stuff into master. Like merge. Okay, so that's it. That's all you need to do. Now you can push this up to the master branch. Yes, Git, commit files. No changes have been detected. Yes, Git, push. Master, origin master. We are going to push this. Wait a minute. Push successfully. One push committed to master origin. So let's go back to GitHub and check it out. I'm going to reload this. You'll see we have now one branch because when you merge, it deletes those branches. We have two commits on this branch. These commits all get merged into the master branch. So edit some text files. We go back to the code. We go through here. You'll see that we have the code from those commits in our master branch. And so now, those of us in that program, we can turn this into the reviewer and be done with it. The other way to merge, well, not necessarily another way to merge, but the other way to, the best way to do it is to make a copy of your master branch, merge into that copy, see what kind of conflicts you're going to get. I knew we weren't going to have conflicts. Like I said, conflicts, it's just going to pop up that diff menu and there's going to be red. And you can click the arrow to move it over. You can click the arrow to delete it. It's really simple, really straightforward, nothing to freak. And that's it. That's all there really is to it. If you have any questions or comments, if you think I didn't explain something enough, if you think I missed something, and there's something more you need explained, go ahead and leave a message and I will try to get back to you.